Welcome to the latest in our series of Top Med Talks 2. In these podcasts, the Top Med Talk team is in conversation with global thought leaders in perioperative care. Top Med Talk.
Well, hello and welcome to Top Med Talk. I'm Desiree Chappell, host and managing editor of Top Med Talk, and I'm joined by our editor-in-chief, Monty Mythen. Hello, Monty.
Great to be here, Desiree. What a fantastic meeting.
Well, Monty, we've had the opportunity to sit down with some of the delegates, some of the presenters here, and this morning we've had the opportunity to sit down with a friend of Top Med Talk, Dr. Bill Wooden from Indiana University. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Thank you for having me. It's a wonderful meeting.
It is a wonderful meeting. I heard you just flew in late last night, yeah?
Got in last night, have to go home to get the new residents oriented tomorrow.
And you gave your presentation. You presented a free paper. We're going to talk about that, or in the free paper session. We'll talk about that in a minute. You're presenting at 9 o'clock this morning. So
yes, yes, I'm still awake, amazingly. And I get to almost give the same presentation to all the new residents, pediatrics, medicine, all of surgery, and administration on Friday, hence one of the reasons I fly back tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh.
Get them all on the right track to start off with.
Crazy.
So we were in the TRIPOM session, which is Trainees in Perioperative Medicine, where the free papers, the David Bennett Prize, David Bennett being one of our forefathers, very, very sadly died shortly after retirement, but coached a lot of us in critical care. So it's the David Bennett Research Prize. We had a massive entry this year. We had hundreds of abstracts submitted, and we got down to the last 5, so it was a small but high-quality audience. And of the last 5, I think 3 of the presenters were surgeons.
Yes,
they were.
I
think we're doing something right somewhere.
I think that's a wonderful thing. That one of the things that we've seen with the whole entire enhanced recovery, but post-prehabilitation, it's an incredible platform to redevelop enthusiasm for patient care and outcomes. It brings the hospitalist, the intensivist, the anesthesiologist, the surgeon, the patient and administration all together to talk about one thing, that health of the patient, and excitingly, how we change that trajectory health for not only that given event of surgery, but hopefully, and I have a bigger dream, that all this work that we're doing in prehabilitation will actually extend over to population health and reach drive. So we've never thought that anesthesiologists, critical care, and surgery would be the drivers of population health. What an exciting opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, Bill, you, Desiree, will know where Bill lives in the
I'm
USA.
from Indiana, actually.
Oh, well, there we go. So for those of us from elsewhere in the world, where roughly is Indiana?
Indiana is literally considered the crossroads of America. So if you look at America and the East Coast and the West Coast, almost, but just a little bit to the right of middle is Indiana, and it's where all the major highways intersect to then go across the country. So it's a very exciting place. It's a little bit lower key than Chicago, New York, or L.A., but we still have all the wonderful things of sports and good weather, and the most important thing, a really good airport. So that will let us get in and out. So Indiana is a wonderful place as long as you don't want to rock climb or snow ski.
And is Gary in Indiana?
There's Gary, Indiana to the north, and we're actually in Indianapolis, right in downtown.
The center of the
I know
state.
that because of the music. I'm a musical fan. The Music Man has a song called Gary. Can we sing along?
Oh, absolutely.
Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. Is that the place?
Yes.
We're all over it.
Paris, France,
exactly. But Mix, that was beautiful. Beautiful. We can do Madam Live wherever young whose skin was like Carrie on.
So I always say Indianapolis. So I grew up in southern Indiana. Indianapolis is the suburb of Chicago. I'm sorry. No.
Thank God it's only a suburb, otherwise it would not be there.
I know.
Chicago
actually,
I can do without.
I know. So that's where it's located, south of Chicago. But Indianapolis in its own right is actually really up and coming in the health community and a lot of different aspects. So, Bill, tell us a little bit about, you've talked about prehabilitation. We're about perioperative medicine. I think, obviously that's a huge portion of it. Tell us a little bit about what you presented today, because I think some of the results were pretty profound. So.
Well, one of the things that I started to look at the need to change as I took greater roles and responsibilities at our institution there as the director for clinical operations and then director of surgery. We needed to provide better care for patients. We needed to get better outcomes. I had worked with the AMA on pay for performance and all sorts of quality initiatives, and we hadn't moved the needle. We had changed things, but we really never moved that needle of quality, and we needed some dramatic change. And that was about the right time. Our European colleagues with Professor Mythen was really doing the same thing on the European side, and it really was like a aha moment. We recognized that we all need to provide better care for our patients. one, for the patients and family, but also for the ability to sustain health care. We only have limited dollars. We cannot waste those dollars, and we need to get the most for the investment for the patient. So as we started to look at it, each institution, each system, each country has a little bit different set of problems, but the bottom line was we needed to move the cost and the quality back to the left. Decrease cost, increase quality, and with that, be able to provide more for our patients. Change the health of healthcare. We need to improve that health of healthcare, the trajectory health. And so when we started looking at our issues at Indiana University and the IU Health Systems Network, we had 29 hospitals across the state, and we really had done lots of very diligent work, but we still had too many places where we had not improved things. Length of stay, readmissions, infections, recidivism of ill health. And if we think about, and not just a surgery as an event, but as a disease, it really amplifies the importance of changing the quality of that health, the recidivism of the disease that led to the need for a surgical event. When we take people to surgery, we used to often be measured on how soon we got them to surgery. And what we realized was it was not the speed that we needed to get them surgery, but we needed to get them healthier to surgery. We needed to change the health of the patient to get a better outcome. We could do lots of things on the morning of, intraoperative, and postoperative really do help, but the whole prehabilitation part, the ounce of prevention is a pound of cure, speaks highly of what this whole meeting is about. Is a wonderful. I can't emphasize enough to everyone to really plan to come to this as often as they can, and at least read our abstracts and our papers, because it really does help you recognize that power of prehabilitation. The other challenge is how do you get enhanced recovery going? It's a wonderful machine in operation, and if you can get each of your segments, your colorectals, your hepatobiliary, your thoracic, your GYN surgeons, if you can get everyone on board, that's great. But how do you get them there? How do you get administration? So we really looked at a little more of a unique process of bringing in immunonutrition and prehabilitation to address physical fitness, nutrition, smoking cessation, decolonization, provide the immunonutrition, which is incredibly powerful. And then we've added the opioid avoidance with the pain blocks, the standard medicines on the morning of surgery, gum, and those other fun things that really just augment. And what we found was we were able to dramatically shift the quality of care we were able to do. In the U.S., we look at harm events, and so that's our surgical site infections, our cardiacs, our CLAPSIs, our VTEs, and things like that. We've been able to get a 78% reduction in harm events in IU health systems with this relatively simple program. The other thing it does is dramatically accelerated the enthusiasm of bedside care again. We now have nurses excited, pharmacy, allied health, surgeons actually talking to an anesthesiologist about the care of their patient, because all of a sudden they recognized that they could get better results. And as long as we create them an easy button, a system, prehabilitation and enhanced recovery, that it really does become synergistic. And all of a sudden, our hospital now has twice the capacity it had, twice the capacity without any more nurses. I know in the U.S., let alone probably the rest of the world, you can't hire a good nurse to save your life. We just can't produce them enough. So we've got to be able to make everything more efficient. So our length of stay is down, our readmissions is down, our major complications are down, and with that, our cost per unit case, our actual direct cost of care, before you even calculate the cost of saving a surgical site infection or readmission or length of stay. And imagine what we can do if we're able to expand this and adopt in full enhanced recovery, the money that can be put back on the table to reinvest in healthcare. Now we can really think about new technologies, advancements in science, and impacting health for our country.
So, Bill, the paper you presented this morning was very much focused on so-called immunonutrition.
Yes.
We did a perioperative quality initiative a couple of years ago, and we published a paper in Anesthesia and Analgesia, the group POQI.
Right.
And we concluded within that there are a considerable number of trials, all relatively small, but the signal was very strong to suggest the fact that so-called immunonutrition had something extra to offer. Can you tell us what is immunonutrition?
Immunonutrition has been we've all known since we were in medical school that any major stress, especially physical stress with surgery, results in a loss of immune competence. So if we test you before your surgery, you'll react to standard antigens, hay fever, Candida, any number of things. As soon as you have your surgery, your trauma, your stress, you lose that energy. Your immune system actually turns down, and you can actually measure T-cell function, and your T-cells actually turn off. And it's actually a cascade of events with myeloid suppressor cells and some very exciting physiology. All that physiology is based off an internal depletion of arginine. And so over the years, and a lot of the work was done at the University of Pittsburgh back in the late 80s, early 90s, where they actually looked at what it would take to establish or return the T cells back to normal. And what they found out was that there were really three key elements. We really needed to replete arginine to prevent those depleting stores, but we also needed to turn off the T-cell suppressor cells on the inflammatory side. And so they identified the key omega-3 fatty acids, and then they identified likewise that if you supplemented with core amino acids, that you then came up with the magic 3. And at this point, we've used the supplement that has those magic 3.
And what are the magic 3 again?
Arginine, amino acids, and omega-3 fatty acids, and the right acids.
That's sort of fish oil, is it?
Yes, it's the right components of fish oil. If you take any of these elements and you run them through a column chromatograph, you get all the different elements. And so what was done was they actually identified the key negative inflammatory effects of omega-3 fatty acids and brought those into the formulations along with the nucleotides and the arginine. So you replete T-cell function, you turn off the myeloid suppressor cells, and then you've supplemented with the amino acids then for immediate healing.
So the immunonutrition comes in the form of a drink. It doesn't sound very nice to drink, fish oil and
actually
amino acids. I presume it's been reformulated, disguised in something.
Yes, it's quite nicely disguised. And I will admit, I'm a fisherman. Okay. My father was Navy. I grew up on Navy bases, and fishing is next to my heart. God and fishing. So, yes, it does have a bit of a taste, but it's nicely disguised in a very nice vanilla flavor, and they actually have a very nice recipe book that helps you disguise it further. I've had patients do wonderful things, including making White Russians out of them. It's about the size of a small child's juice box, and you drink 3 a day for the 5 days before surgery.
Gotcha.
And what we found was the results were so positive that the surgeons and nurses basically wouldn't send a patient to surgery without it. And we worked out a process they could actually buy it in the cafeteria and bring it over to clinic.
Oh, wow.
With that, then we were able to show the results to administration. So that's where we gained the buy-in within the administration to say it was worth the small investment of a couple $100 to put this kit together. So that we provided them with an incentive spirometer, the immune nutrition drink. And for majorly depressed patients, we then want to do the 1 week before, and then we also continue to do them for a week post-op. And with that, we've been able to have dramatic results.
And your recipe is described under the banner of power, is that
right? We wanted to have some way that gave it some simplicity of understanding, and so power, preoperative, enhanced rapid recovery, and so to link it with we see it as the preamble to ERAS. So what we've tried to get our system to do is accept power with 2 R's to become the preamble to ERAS, and it's actually worked. And they're working. So we've really been able to get that enthusiasm to then get each of the service lines to sit down and then start writing their pathways to amplify and bring on all those other key elements.
And can folks look that up somewhere? Is that in the public domain?
Yes. We had a very nice, we finally got a very nice comprehensive presentation that we did at the American Surgical last year, and that paper is now published. We also now have several other manuscripts out on hepatobiliary patients, breast surgery patients, abdominoplasties and plastic surgery, and we're working on a series of others. And so we now have data out on over 9,000 patients.
So we'll get it in the show notes. So your name is spelt Wooden, like wood, but Wooden.
Yes, sir.
William, W. And the journal was?
Annals of Surgery.
Annals of Surgery. And roughly when?
The presentation was last spring, so I think it was April, and I think came out in August or September's issue.
Well, you can let us have the link, and we'll put it in the show note.
Yes.
Because it's a package, isn't it?
Right.
I don't mean a physical package. It's a bundle of care, of which the immunonutrition is a component of it.
Well, one of the things we found was we wanted to give all this to the patient. And so if you try and hand it to grandmother in the clinic, it didn't work. So we actually put it in this cute little roller bag. And the roller bag is really fun because they actually walk away with something. It allows them to take their educational notes, all the materials from clinic, from anesthesia, plus everything they need, and walk out the door with it. And so it's been it was very inexpensive for us to put that together. But it really provides that nice element for the patients, but it also allows them to actually physically engage with the process. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things we're indoctrinated every day we turn on the TV and the radio about some health food additive initiative product. So the mentality of patients are really keyed for this. And the nice thing is this is all scientifically based. We just need to get together and make it happen.
And just to be clear, you're not selling the roller bags. You said, here's the free recipe to put together your own roller bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic, Bill.
Yeah.
Well,
you can have a roller bag or a grocery sack. But
No, I mean, it's a great, the patient engagement thing is so huge. And I think that people that are running successful enhanced recovery programs or perioperative care programs, however you want to badge it, it's key. And, starting out with something that is going to get the attention of your patients, get the attention of your administrators, and everyone involved is so important. On that note, I just wanted to say thank you again for sitting down with us.
You.
It's our second. Hopefully, we can get to Indianapolis next time we're in the area, because that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from Louisville.
Right.
And we'll maybe be able to sit down with your team and get some more information about what you guys
would
are
love
doing.
To do that.
Yeah, and kind of.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Nick Majerison here. Thanks for listening to Top Med Talk. Now, before we let you go, it's important that we remind you to subscribe to Top Med Talk. That way you'll never, ever miss another episode. Also, if we could encourage you to join us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, pretty much every single social media platform, we're there. Join us. And finally, check out topmedtalk.com. If you go to our website, you can subscribe to email updates. That way we can always tell you where we're going to be, what we're going to be doing, and how you can join us. topmedtalk.com, and click on the section marked email updates. Finally, Top Med Talk is proud to act as the broadcasting arm of EBPOM, Evidence-Based Perioperative Medicine. We'd love you to find out more about them as well. ebpom.org is their website. That's ebpom.org. And if you go to ebpom.org/meetings, you can find out about some of the wonderful meetings that we attend and cover across the year here on Top Med Talk. That's ebpom.org/meetings.